the period last year. Statin says this was driven by a 3.6% increase in the goods producing sector.
You've heard it before, Ralston. Do I need to play it?
No, no.
Right, because I played it already for the listeners. So that is the one I want you to break down for us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, as Statin said, the GDP climbed by 1.6% during the second quarter of this year compared to the second quarter of last year.
Yes.
The goods producing sector, which accounts for 30% of GDP, climbed by 3.6%, and the services sector was up by 1%. Within the goods producing sector, agriculture was up by 9.2%, construction 1.7%, manufacturing up by 1.5%, mining was down by 4.8%. Within the services sector, the tourism sector grew by 4.1%, financial and insurance services 3.9%, transport 1.7%, public administration 0.9%, information and communication 0.2%, real estate and renting, which includes the BPO sector 0.2%, wholesale and retail was flat, electricity, water and gas 2.6% decline, education and health services down by 0.5%.
So the third quarter, that's the third quarter?
No, this is the second quarter.
Second, right, because I was wondering third quarter, that's quick. So that's the second quarter for the year 2025, we have a 1.6% growth. Is that what it's saying? Simply saying that we are growing out of the recession, but does that takes us out of stagnation, Ralston?
No, we're still stagnating. We're still crawling along. Yep.
All right, so we hear these.
So that's very important to know. According to Ralston Hyman, 1.6% growth does not mean that we're not in stagnation still. We're crawling along. Barely. Embarrassing. We need some milk. Need more nutrition. Barely crawling along. We don't have good legs yet economically, people. You hear that? Good. Let's continue.
Argument also they spoke about unemployment is down, but of course significantly to that, underemployment remains at 5%. What does that mean?
Yeah, man, the unemployment rate was barely kicked down by 3 percentage points from 3.6% in July of last year to 3.3% in July of this year.
And where they said those jobs came from?
Well, the majority of the jobs, they say that the managerial category, 10,300 jobs, wholesale and retail, 8,800 jobs, manufacturing 7,600 jobs, service and sales workers 7,300, accommodation services, tourism sector 7,400, craft and related trades 6,400. So 32,000 new jobs were created between July of 2024 and July of 2025.
And these are mostly jobs that you're getting what, minimum wage?
Yeah, man.
So they're
from the managerial category.
All right. So Mr. Mahfoud Ralston is saying that government must cut public sector worker. How can that be?
That's not going to happen. The way you have to do it is grow the GDP. When Nigel Clark busted the budget, he told them that he would grow the GDP to get the ratio down back to the 9% or the 10%.
Right.
So you have to grow the economy. That's not going to work.
So you can't cut.
So people, the suggestion from Mr. Mahfoud by Ralston Hyman, man, I say, yo, you can't do that, brother. You have to grow the economy. You have to grow the economy. It's the only way to solve the problem. Let's see what happens if them are going to grow the economy sufficiently. Not crawling, but real growth. Let's see.
So what Mr. Mahfoud is saying is not going to happen.
No, I told him that already. That's not going to happen.
Now, where is the growth going to come from now, Ralston? This is the question.
Well, as the numbers indicated, the largest growth within the contribution to the 1.6% growth was agriculture, which was up by 9.2%. And we see the accommodation services, which is tourism again, which is part of Brand Jamaica. So it tells you that if you grow the economy, it means that agriculture, Brand Jamaica, the same creative industries twinned up with tourism and those things that you are talking about. Yeah.
But
interesting. Agriculture is at the center of the growth that Statin is talking about. So when the PNP come out and talk about the actual focus that they would have on agriculture, one, the EASE program, where every child gets a hot meal. They will be giving $9 billion to the local farmers them. set them on a path of growth in the foods that they would feed the children. So they would have a monthly or weekly market. However them do it. Every month, depending upon the crop, or every week, depending on the crop, they would facilitate these particular crops to that initiative of feeding the kids in school. So it would simultaneously help with the education of our children because they'll be present at school, feeding them so they can concentrate and learn, and also feeding the families of the farmers them with the $9 billion of the tax dollars going to them. That was one of the big plans for agriculture, to one, increase productivity from the farmers, and also to help them with, getting their things out there. Another way that they mentioned was storage, having proper storage facilities for these crops. So they would buy the crops from the farmer them, so they would decrease their loss where their excess is concerned. You understand? So whatever market that they have, that they sell to, so alright, them have these sell the excess, they would buy it from them and store them. And they also talked about, like for instance, making tomato paste from tomato. You remember the brother that came out, the farmer that lost all those tomatoes? They could have got that in storage and they could use it to make tomato paste. That's a product now that could be used. We have a lot of pizza places around Jamaica. Them use tomato paste. That's what goes on the pizza. Yes? So the People's National Party manifesto for the agricultural sector was definitely going to help us to grow the economy, because that's the one that has the most percentage in there of growth. That Ralston Hyman just said a while ago. Let's go back and listen. Hold on there. Let's go back and listen.
As the numbers indicated, the largest growth within the contribution to the 1.6% growth was agriculture, which was up by 9.2%. And we see the accommodation service.
So agriculture is the largest contributor of the growth, which is up by 1.2%. Which is up by 9.2%. So when they hear the figures and the argument from Dr. Dayton Campbell, so passionate and adamant about focusing on agriculture, you wonder why. He also spoke about the creative industry. You shouldn't be wondering why, because he knows what he's talking about. Dr. Dayton Campbell knows what he's talking about. You understand? Very unfortunate that what happened on September 3rd happened. We all know what happened. Very unfortunate, but God is not sleeping. And we're praying consistently for God to deliver us from the evil that this government is. Let's continue.
Which is tourism again, which is part of Brand Jamaica. So it tells you that if you're a growing economy, it means that agriculture, Brand Jamaica, the same creative industries twinned up with tourism and those things that you're talking about. Yeah.
But are they ready? Are they moving? You see any movements?
Well, we hear the argument that they say that they are going to do that. So we'll just have to wait and see. Nothing has happened since the election. So we'll just have to wait and see. But those are some of the policy indicators that they pointed to. Now,
and that's very important, because we have a government that knows how to say the right things, but never do them. Promise, but never fulfill. And nobody can say that I'm being harsh. Just look at Andrew 100-day promise from 2016. Not one promise was fulfilled. They have a track record of this. So, Flight Green is saying all the right things. Even using the PMP's ideas. No, like it's the JLP own, which I did a video about that and showed that it was the PMP's ideas from past clips and present what he said the other day. But him saying it, let's see if they're going to implement it. Let's see. That's all we can do. We can wait and see. I doubt it. Because I told you guys, I believe there is a consistent, deliberate effort to destroy this country. You understand? That's my belief. Tomorrow, how you doing? I know it's you. Pick up yourself.
Important point is reducing the interest rates, and the governor and his monetary policy committee got it very wrong on Monday. And one thing that they told us is that Planning Institute of Jamaica, Wayne Henry and the crew provided them with anecdotal information that the economy is estimated to have grown by 3 to 4% during the period June to September, which is just totally ridiculous. So
that will be the third quarter.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
So they are saying, so the Planning Institute is saying that the Jamaican economy will grow by 3 to 4% in the third quarter of 2025.
They use that as part of the explanation for not reducing the interest rates after FNP told us that our rate of growth is way below countries with similar rating.
So
rather than cut the interest rate, they told us that nonsense and kept the rates at the same level.
Wow, that's crazy. So BOJ told them that in the third quarter that they're going to have 3 to 4% growth just to not lower the interest rates for borrowing. So ralston Hyman is saying they told them that nonsense. Oh my God. Jamaica, I don't want to say nothing more now because people are going to think say I just do man glue me at all. But yo, we don't realize what's going on. We are being set up. Oh my God.
Is it that
come down if we drive growth?
Is it that we are running the country on imaginary numbers? We just think of some numbers.
Say, anecdotal evidence, and them have the BOJ had the gall to write that in a release to the public.
My God.
Ralston Hyman said the BOJ had the gall to release that argument about 3 to 4% growth to the public. Yo, we are being lied to, ladies and gentlemen.
It's gut feeling, yeah.
So anecdotal evidence.
Anecdotal evidence, yeah, man.
So that means these are not no real evidence, people.
No, there's no scientific data, there's no measured data to say that. You just run some numbers to a computer and then tell them that and them accepting that.
What it is that they are saying that we are going to produce to get this 3 to 4%?
Well, they never told us. That's the point I'm making. They never told us.
and nobody asked them.
No, nobody asked us. Nobody asked about nothing. So we still even give thanks to John Mafood that him come out and say something. Because apart from him and Omar and nobody within that crew asked about nothing.
But have we called them to the table, Ralston? Have we?
Want to hear that? When good men stay quiet, corruption, greed, crime persists. Everybody is quiet. Although they know say foolishness are going on with the government and the economy, they stay quiet. You hear the man say? Big up Mr. Mafood to even say something. And big up Mr. Omar Hassan too. Everybody else, enemy of the state, enemy of poor people. Quiet. Then conscience will not lend them any balls. Any kahunos to come out and tell us the truth of what it is, so that the government, the JLP, can continue to mislead and deceive the people of Jamaica. We are walking, you know them something with them when them up on the pirate ship. We are blindfolded and walking on a gallows with shark-infested waters, slowly being pushed towards the edge, only to be devoured in the end. That is what is happening to us in Jamaica here. Remember good?
Invite them to the table to sit down and answer.
Yeah, man, and then that's certain, man. Then they kept the invitation. When you call them, they never come. They find some excuse to give you why they can't come.
Why they can't take a telephone interview?
Yeah,
because the technology is good these days. You don't have to forward telephone
it has
interview.
Nothing to do with technology. It has nothing. Them just don't want to comment on nothing in relation to what is happening now. Just like what happened in America. It's a kind of fear syndrome.
But the people have to cry out for more answers to it. Can't just be that
man,
you just tell us something and then we also see from the other side that things are falling apart.
Yeah, man. Yep.
We've been saying it. Here is SNP now come out and say, listen, Jamaica, you are at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do something about growth in the country.
And the governor pretended that he never hear and still keep the interest rates at the same level.
But the governor is also saying that if I bring down the interest rate, the commercial banks now move, so it don't make no sense. What do you say about that?
No, well, it can't be. It can't be. The primary role of the central bank is to control the money supply at a level that is consistent with the highest employment and growth possible and the lowest inflation.
Yeah.
So if the governor can't tell us, say, boy, the man then respond to when he says something about it. It don't make no sense. We pay him for that amount.
But Raleigh, isn't that a fact?
Sorry?
Isn't that a fact that him bring down the rate before? How much time? 3 times before?
Yeah, and what I said to you, the strategy can be to surrender. So the governor has said to the Minister of Finance, the governor responsible for monetary policy, the Minister of Finance responsible for the overall economy, and the Prime Minister responsible for the overall country. So the governor can't take the path of least resistance and say, boy, I'm going to cut the rates because the money now respond, because cutting the rates is important to grow the economy. So you need to seek help from the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance. So the bankers them say they want the asset tax to be reduced.
So the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance not see what happened. Why the Bank of Jamaica need to call to them? They are blind.
But precisely. So
and of them have the burden. And of them have the biggest burden, the biggest responsibility to the people.
That's the point I was going to...
So when it come on to what Ralston is saying, the individual we mentioned is saying, even if I put out a memorandum or a statement of action towards lowering the interest rates, BOJ can do whatever they want to do anyway, so when it makes sense, me do it. So basically, he's supposed to be an advocate for the public interest. At all for the press big up. He's supposed to be an advocate for the public interest, but then he's not advocating because he must say he is powerless. No matter if he advocates, nothing will change. And Ralston Hyman is saying that's rubbish. If he advocates and they don't do anything, they have. Where's him lose? That quote already? I've got to read about that and find out what's going with that. If he advocates and the public, if he advocates and they don't do what they're supposed to do, then he's saying he has another action that he can take. Reach out to the Minister of Finance and also the Prime Minister so they can join in helping him or her, whoever is in the position, to rally on behalf of the people and make sure that the BOJ lower the interest rate. So it's like basically the government is allowing the BOJ to not lower the interest rate. They are not pressuring them on the people's behalf. And Ralston Hyman has been championing this now. We see Mr. Mahfoud championing the same thing, the lowering of the interest rate. We heard Mr. Omar Hassan championing the same thing to increase productivity and growth. So the government is to be blamed for this. And that is causing a lot of people's lives to be more difficult. You see, when people say election done and whatever, they are foolish. And I'm saying, yeah man, me see what you say, man. They are foolish. And I was one of those foolish people at one point. I was. Because it's not always about you. It's about the collective. You understand? It's about everybody. So the government is to be blamed. And we are going to lay blame on the government because it's their fault for doing nothing to help the people of Jamaica. And we now stop beating the fire. Who are vex? You could have typed till a week, I don't business. You could have done in the comment section, I don't care, we are stand by the truth over here. So. And them for blame. Them will make the people them life harder. They have the ability to make the people's life easier. But they refuse to because them are wicked. Them are wicked.
She's responsible for the overall economy and the Prime Minister is responsible for the overall country. And if S&P and the people of Jamaica said to them that the country not growing fast enough and we need to accelerate growth, and interest rates is one of the constraints that is holding back growth. And the bankers say, by the way, the asset tax is one of the problems that we have. The Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister know that the asset tax should have been removed from 2016. Now, the asset tax is only $13 billion, half of 1% of the total assets of the banking sector. So the government was planning to give away $13.58 billion with a 1% reduction in the income tax rate from 25%.
And
So
they were going to do 10% reduction.
Sorry?
They were going to do 10% reduction, not just one.
No, yeah, but I'm saying like in year one, so then try to give the man them a timetable and say, by the way, okay, we'll do the full eliminate the thing this year. I will eliminate it over a 2-year period, just like what the opposition gave a timetable. And as a quid pro quo, why you bring down the interest rate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
you
need to approach the man them with some negotiation to get the thing done. It can't be that way, so boy. They're not having the rates down, so we're not about to bring the rates down at the central bank. That is not a good policy. It means that we pay the governor for nothing then.
So is
and
it
we pay them for nothing, not the governor.
Or is it that the banks will a bigger stick that they can't move? What about the legislatures that can really change things?
Well, all of that would have to be a part of it, but you have to give the man a carrot. You need to bring down the asset tax and then you impose the legislation, and then you have the thing about the government deposits being spread across the banking sector, not just with the two oligopolies in the sector. All of those things are part of the toolkits that the government has can deal with the problem.
But Ralston,
it can't be that the governor says, boy, I'm not reducing interest rates because they've never done it. No.
Who making a bag of money right now?
Alright, so basically what we understand from what Ralston Hyman has said, right, is that there's specific things that the government can do to ensure that they reduce the interest rate on loans. But the government has not tried nothing. They have made no attempts. You see, if you are the police, is given a job to serve and protect, and you see a man right there, so a beat up a woman on a live or through battery shot, and you sit and not go and do your job and turn your neck and turn your head from the situation and walk away, you are just as guilty of that crime that that person committed. This is what the government is doing. They are turning a blind eye from doing something in regards to having the banks them lowering the interest rates. The people them are suffer, the economy is suffering, and they are doing nothing. And people want to lay them blameless because they must you know, we not even want to be disrespectful. Let me continue.
Ralston.
The banks.
So let me ask you this, because how me I look on this thing here from the other day. The banks have this government in them pocket. Remember, you know, Fitzjackson did bring a bill to the parliament and said, banks, don't charge Jamaicans to deposit your money.
Yes.
Don't charge Jamaicans to withdraw your money.
Yes.
Don't charge Jamaicans to check them balance.
Yes.
At a minimum service to the people. And this government voted in favor of the banks to continue to charge us.
Yeah,
so,
only hear that? So we should not be surprised. Though you're doing that, Mr. Fitzjackson went on behalf of the people, put a bill to say, listen, stop charging the people for check them balance in their account. Stop charging them for draw money. Stop charging them for put in money as a service to the people that put their money in your banks. And the JLP voted against it. But telling us, say, the JLP party is the weapon that farm against poor people in Jamaica. I don't think I lie, me I tell. They are the absolute weapon that farm against the people of Jamaica. Yes, you have to pay to check your balance. You have to pay to check your balance. Oh, Lord.
when I see them not doing nothing and not taking no firm stands on the bank, is the bank control them? Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, but the people voted back for the government, so the people must control the government, and the people want growth and improvements in their living standards. So the people have to come down heavily on the government and make them know, say, we want the rates go down. It can't be that everybody is like deathly in silence. It's only John McFood and...
But Raleigh.
And
hey, me love how Ralston answer that question then. It boils down to we, the people of Jamaica. Because this has been happening for a good while now. But we have allowed the government to serve us in this capacity and not said anything, and we never vote them out. Them back in now, and we're not protesting, and we're not making any noise, and we're not demanding them to stand up for us. So It is the Stockholm syndrome. You can't blame the government alone. You have to blame only two people. Because you guys have not done anything to stand up against the government. You are allowing them to abuse you. You, the people of Jamaica, you are allowing the government to abuse you and not work on your behalf. So we have got to take some responsibility. A years after I press, I tell you no. Go out and protest. Stand up. We have a lot to protest about, you know. The police, them extrajudicial killings. This situation with the economy and the banks and the high interest rates. We have a lot to protest about. Agriculture not being the focus. Lack of food security in Jamaica when we are looking at WW3 right around the horizon. Climate change, also something that is necessary to make sure that you focus on food security. Look who rainfall the other day, soon you didn't talk about this. Say, these shocks. Right? All these shocks. As an excuse for not growing the economy. You soon hear them talk about it, you know. But you must know still.
And Omar Zan from the business community was talk about those things.
But Raleigh, you know the government to read it. You know the government to read it? You never hear Tough Tan say the opposition must shut them out. We win this thing here. We are run this thing here. So how them are read it is that the people them say, do what you did that do. Continue with what you do. I saw them are read it.
Yeah, well the people will just have to accept the poverty and poor living standard if that they want.
But we, Ralston, we attack these things here. We have bad news where we just attack and preach doom and gloom upon the government.
Well, the people can say that, but we just have to follow the numbers and say what the numbers are saying. And the numbers are saying, and the international people are saying that we're not going fast enough for the people in the street about them hungry and this and that and the whole place are washer and everything there. So, I mean, they have to take a decision as to what they want them government to do for them because they voted for the government.
I'm not going to keep you long, Ralston, but statin also says that we are importing 4 times what we are exporting. What does that mean?
That has been consistent and the trade.
Cover. Oh my God. I never knew it could be worse than I thought. We are importing 4 times what we are exporting. If that's not a recipe for disaster, I don't know what is. Me telling you, the money is the weapon that farm against Jamaica. And meanwhile, I'm showing. This comes from statin, you know. We're listening to statistic, factual evidence, you know. I have people in my comment section that chat foolishness, you know. And I defend the government same way, you know. Don't blame the government for your go and plant food. I really dislike you guys. I really hope that you just not come to my page and watch. I don't want a viewership. The persons that think like that, just leave. Leave. Thank you. Don't watch this program anymore. And it's like you guys are being paid to come and talk nonsense in people comment section. 4 times. Mommy, you didn't know that? Hey, mommy, Jamaica is importing 4 times what they're exporting. You didn't know that? Yes! Statin put out the information. And Lanstal Hyman and Colin Bella talk about it on the day I record. And I react to it. Mighty God! And people still talk about 1 payment this government. Me say, all the negatives that this government is bringing, on this country, I hope it only happens to the labor right them. Or uno fuss. I want uno fuss feeling. And I'm very serious. All the negatives that this government is bringing on this country, I want the labor right them feel it first. Because it's the only way we're not going to wake up and see what we are seeing. Uno lack vision, uno blind. I only want it happen to first, man. I pray God say it happen to the first. Every decision where they make will impact us negatively, I want it to happen to you first. Because all I want it to happen to you, but more up to the first. Only more want it up to first. Yes. Yes.
The gap continues to deteriorate. Yeah? Yes, and that's a very big problem that needs to be solved. As long as you're running these massive trade deficits, then you can't grow, because you can't grow by importing and selling to yourself 2.7 million poor people. You have to be exporting, yeah? And that is part of the problem, and that is part of the problem that the governor has. The governor thinks that demand management. Right now, today, they are mopping up $14 billion out of the system. All of that is very negative, because dollar is still not stable. Yesterday, the people in the foreign exchange market responded to is not reducing the interest rates by pushing the exchange rate from 161.05 to 161.22, forcing them to come back today to mop up another $14 billion out of the system. That money should be used to increase export earnings, train the labor force, and all of those things.
Ralston, why we don't hear anything from the government? Anything at all?
I don't know why they're so silent enough. Maybe they run out of ideas.
No,
because it is clear, because everything that we're doing are things that we used to do before the election. Nothing new is coming out of the government.
What is the issue with America before you go, Ralston? What is happening in America right now? The country.
Well, government,
as America government gets shut.
We just have to left you right this, you know, in terms of the reaction, and I'm not going to further. Because I know I'm past my time. But I want to stay under. Yeah, man, 32 minutes, so. When you make me know what you think about a conversation with Ralston Hyman and Colin Bell, guys, please go over to the Portland Spice TV page and go and subscribe to the platform. Alright? Make sure you go subscribe to the platform. Let me show you. Alright? See it there? Yeah, man, Portland Spice TV. See it? Make sure you go subscribe, alright? That is it. Alright. Storm up the comment section. Get this video up to 1,000 likes. I'm out.